Okay, back in Unreal, we're gonna open up the component, content browser. I go to textures, import, and I'm gonna import those two flares that I just made. Here you can go OK to all. If you have normal maps, you do need to set it to TC normal map. But I'm not gonna, as if I don't use normal maps. So, so there's our flares brought in. Okay, so generally our flares are going to be, the colors are going to be controlled by the particle system. So we want them to be, first of all, additive, and we also want them to be able to color in the particle system itself. So for that, we're going to be using, it's called vert color. It's in the material when you make a material. So for right now, we'll start with this one. So you can right click on this one. You can do create new material based off of that texture. So right now, so grouping, gonna click the little binoculars and go to materials to set the group, and then we're just gonna hit OK for now. Okay. So you're gonna look for vertex color, which now is just to control the particle color. And we're gonna put multiply in there, and we're just gonna put this into here, this into here, and into emissive. And then set this material right here to additive and unlit, because we don't want it, because it's not going to have any information on lighting. Okay, and this should be good. And we could do that for the other one. We'll do that for the other one in a minute. We'll just try to test out this one. Okay, so then we're going to go right click, and we're going to do new particle system and grouping particles, and I'll call this center flare 01. Now because I already had it selected, it already brought it in as a material into the particle system here. If it did not have it selected, so I'll delete that real quick. So if it didn't have it selected, say it was unselected like that, when I go back to the particles, so there's nothing selected right here. When you right click and go new particle system, there you go. It wasn't showing up on my display. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you first start. So what I want to do is first of all delete the initial velocity, because right now we only want to concentrate it being in the center. As you can see, when you rotate around, the particle is always facing the camera. So we're going to keep the lifetime the same, and we right click, and we're going to go to size by life. Actually, let's just do initial size. That's really easy. Okay, so initial size. So right now the initial size is 25 and the minimum size is 25. So generally, to make them varied, say we'll do 100 for max, and we'll do minimum at 25. So right now it randomly does it. So now it's drawing on top of each other. So we want to offset it a little bit. So you right click and you can go to rotation, initial rotation, and now you've got it spawning in random locations. Generally I set this to like -1 because I like it to be a little different. So what does our texture look like? So let's try that. So we'll grab our texture. So materials, grab the texture, and put it into required material right there. Alright, it's very busy, and it's also it's not drawing out, like it's not fading in, fading in, fading out, fading in. So under color over life, you're going to click the little bar graph, and it's going to bring up the property window for the graph right here. And you can turn these on and off. This shows you your curves. So we're going to grab this curve at 0 right here. Oh, moving is left mouse, and right button is and zoom in and out is the roller mouse. So grab it with the left and then hold control and you can drag it down. And see, it's not changing. Is it changing? Let's change the lifetime. Oh, you know what? Let's change the spawn count to 1. No, it's not changing. Okay, so go back to the materials. Oh, I was supposed to change that. There we go. I put the wrong one in. Yeah, there we go. Now it's fading in and out. Okay, so just to show you where I made a mistake. On vertex color, I had it going in with the main channel, but because we want to fade based on time, I really should have used the alpha channel. So that was a mistake I made. Okay, so it's blinking in and out, but I also want to change the color also. So I'm going to go back to my material that I used for it. I'm going to set up another multiply. And I'm going to put the alpha down here, color in here, I'll put the opacity into there. Okay, so now I have the alpha being controlled by the vertex color, and also the texture is also being controlled by the vertex color. So that should give me the appropriate results. So let's see, go back to particles, go back to color, go to blue, and it should go blue. Yep, there's blue. Well, it's bluey purple, I guess. So there we go. So give it, so you can see a little more. We'll put 1.2 for the lifetime, and we'll do the spawn rate at 10. There we go. Let's drop the lifetime down a little bit. There we go. Now we could also make it look like it's, so right now we're scaling randomly between 100 and 25. So what happens if we want it to look like it's scaling up over time? So what we want to do is right click and go to size and size by life. I'm going to click the little arrow, little graph, and you want to do it, the red one is X, this is Y and Z, and so since this is a particle, it only does on the X. So right here you collect this and we scale it up. You're going to get the illusion that it's scaling. See, it's got like an aura to it. So since we got this one kind of pretty good at it, we might be able to turn that down a little bit. Let's see. I like it 100. Okay. Now, what about the other texture I made? The OK one I did in in 2 seconds. Okay, well, we could right click on this, go to emitter, and duplicate emitter. So now there's 2 of them being spawned. And go to our material. Oops. And copy. Flare to create copy. I didn't make an O1 yet, so make an O1. Okay. Texture is O1. We'll put that into here. See the little arrow? Push that. Changes the texture. And then you just have to apply changes. So now, do materials. Make sure you got the material selected. Go to required. And plug that in there. There you go. Now that one is kind of, that might be overpowering the other one. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's a little overpowering. Okay, so let's see what this looks like in game. So let's see, make sure it's not too overpowering. So go to particles and drop it in. And get rid of the ball now, because we know where stuff's going. Oh, it's a little small. So instead of scaling up the particle system in Unreal, I'm just going to scale up the emitter size in the particle tool. So under initial size, I guess for the first one, let's make that like 400. I'll probably make it a little more. $1,200 maybe? Yeah, there we go. 1,200 by 500. Yeah. Okay. Also, you can also set it to rotation rate too. Now it might be a little overkill, but usually like minus 0.1 by 0.2 maybe 0.3. There we go. And let's see. Let me crank it up a little higher. Because it was pretty far out in the end of the video. Nice thing is you can update it on the fly and it just changes. Okay, so right now, let's see. It needs like an ore on the inside, but see the secondary one, I'm not really happy with that. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna modify that one. So let's open up that. That was a crappy one. So I'm gonna draw those into there and use the elliptical. And I'm going to modify feather. Okay. And delete. And then go back to our textures, right click and say re-import texture. There we go. See, yeah, when you get close, it's like little, like something's inside of it. But the outer one looks really weird. So I think we're gonna change that. So let's see, select the emitter, and you can go to Find in Content Browser. I'll go straight there. Okay, so I do like the center rings now much better. So maybe we could spawn a little more of them. And maybe the other one is too. Let's see. Alpha, I think, is too much. There you go. Not so much overkill. Okay, now there's not really a center point to the eye, so we're looking at something. So let's start working on that one next. Okay, so we're gonna start working on the center part. As you can see, like I said, your eye really goes to the center, like what's going on in the middle, and there's nothing going on there because it's kind of blank. So let's put like a glow in the middle. So go back to Photoshop and go make a new text. So we'll do a 256. It doesn't have to be that big. And I'm gonna put a black texture on it. Oh, that was Shift F5. Sorry about that. And go to center again. And I'm gonna make a nice hotspot. So right click. Oops. Make a new layer. Where's my layers? Here's my layers. Right click. Fill. Not fill black. We want to fill white. Fill. Okay. Filter, blur, Gaussian. That's good. So that's one texture. So save as. Call it. Center. Hotspot. And then also, I was thinking when I was looking at it, I was like, you know, it'd be kind of cool as if it was, and right now it's pulsing. I mean, I really like the pulse. It'd be cool if there was like another circle pulsing out of it. So let me make that real quick. So new, I'm gonna do 512 for that one, cause since it's gonna be a little bigger, and might be in the player's viewport. I don't know. So Shift F5 to make the background black. Make a new layer. Where's my sweet spot? Come on. Ah, I just did it the other way. Usually I have a predefined texture I've made. There. So I'm gonna make another circle. I'm gonna stroke it and put 3, and then actually let's do stroke center. We'll make it like 6, and then right here I select the same layer again and I offset it a little bit, and then I hit the delete key and I start like slowly breaking away at it. So undo snap. So it's not a perfect circle, but it's kind of close. And then we can also give it a nice outer glow. And scale it down a little bit. Oops. Like that. There we go. Save as. Call it the center ring. Okay. I'll save it. Okay. So go back to here. Go back to our textures. Import. So we got hotspot and ring. Open. Going into textures groups. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my materials now. You can either control the color through the particle again, or we can do it through the shape, the material. So I think I'm gonna do it through the material. So right click and go to create copy, and this is for center hotspot. And select textures, drag it over. And we don't need alpha because we're not it's not being controlled by the alpha, and I want a constant 3 for the color. Or what you can also do is you can use a vector parameter, it's called, that actually gives you a color wheel. So blue, like that, and put the under the B. And then what you can do is grab those and then duplicate, multiply. And I can make those all 1, and maybe blue. Or I could just do it the other way, constant. Drop it in, delete that one. That way it's just black and white. Oops. Okay, is that one done? duplicate this, create copy, called ring. Select the texture sample, hit the little arrow, and the ring now becomes that color. And here's the ring, save. Okay, now we're going to go into our particle system. Okay. Materials. Alright, so right here, make this a little smaller. Okay, so we can make a new so this one, turn it off real quick. So this one is the outer, and then this one would be, this is the inner rays. And then we can duplicate this again. We can call this the center.